Three, two, one.
Welcome to BHawk Live. I am the loud mouth in my new setup. You see, I got the A team right over here. I got the BHawk Live Hawaiian shirt, the big BHawk banner, and then my Blake's BHawk Live crew. Amanda's not joining me because we bought some new microphones, but it didn't work out. So I have the great, I don't know why the hell he's wearing red, but the great Derek King with me from the Derek King Show.
Well,
how are you, Derek?
First of all, red is a St. Louis thing, as you should know by now. Cardinal
It's terrible
red.
color.
It's just, it's my thing. So, I gotta show the love. That's just what I gotta do.
Yeah, but this is BHawk Live. We talk about the Battle Hawks.
That's right.
And speaking of the Battle Hawks, we actually have somebody, Derek. Let me pull it up real quick. Who actually represents and is doing some big things for Battlehawk players and stuff like that. You guys might know him. He's the dude that runs around the field. Right here is his website at bishopathletesrep.com right there. Look at this guy. Look at this young stud right here, Derek. And he's backstage looking at us right now. The one and the only Mr. Jake Bishop. Jake, how are you, buddy?
You mean
how you guys
Jack,
doing?
not Jake.
Oh, well, you know me. I'm an idiot. I can't read.
Clearly I could tell. A little bit of dyslexia kicking in there. But we got to give
how you guys doing?
Jack the love.
We do. How's it going?
It's going good. How about you guys?
Well, it's just we're getting ready to come up to a season and of Battlehawks football. And we're sitting here and, we had Feeney on last week, which you work with Travis. Explain to that. How did that work? How did you get into working with Travis Feeney? How did that all come about?
So it kind of started pretty a long time ago, actually, about a year ago. I used to do artwork for Battlehawks players. I used to, it would be my way of like, if you see it up behind me, I have some of the ones I did. I got them signed by some of the guys. And Darius Shepard actually reached out, talking about my artwork, got to know me a little bit. And then for those who don't know, I'm from St. Louis. I'm a college senior at Mizzou. And so he knew that, and he's like, hey, I want to do some marketing in St. Louis. And I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And so you guys know I did the card show with him and all sorts of stuff. And then we did those T-shirts with 314 Ts. And then I started reaching out to other players. So Travis was one of them, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so started doing that. And then one thing led to another, and we were doing youth football camps and all sorts of things. We've got a couple other exciting things on tap here soon too, as well.
Well, now, Jake, I know that because we had Travis on, and Travis talked about his.
You did it again.
I said Jack.
No, you said Jake again. Did you run?
I'm an idiot.
I swear that you ran into a wall at an angle. I've got a little bit of CTE. Don't get me wrong. I've had my bell rang a few times.
Right there with you.
I got an excuse.
There you go. Look, Amanda says thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to start calling him Mr. Bishop.
There you go. Yeah, that is respectful. That is kind. That's what you should be doing.
All right. So the 314 Ts.
Yep.
Explain to people what 314 Ts is.
Yeah, so we worked with them last year, and we did it's like T-shirt jerseys. So the best way I can put that is like the league doesn't do jerseys. So we came in and I worked with Jake Sutherland, Travis Feeney, and Darius Shepard, and we put their names on the back of the shirt, their number, and then on the front we had a logo. This year we're not working with 314 Ts. Instead, we're working with home crowd threads. So any of my athletes that you've seen on my website, they're going to have like graphic T-shirts made. So like Steven Gonzalez, actually, his is the one that's live right now. So if you go up to the top of the website, you'll see like a shop page.
We'll go right here.
Yep. So these are the shirts right there. So he'll have one. Jake Sutherland's going to have some. I think Darius is going to have some. Blake Jackson, and then one of my guys out in Memphis will have one, and then I think Luis Perez too. So we're going to do those instead this year, and they're just a little more kind of a cooler design we were able to do. Had that company reach out. And then, a lot of the guys, like Chris Payton Jones is going to do one. A lot of guys are on board with it, and they're really excited for it.
Now, Now, Mr. Bishop, since I don't want to mess your name up since I've already screwed it up 3 times already. Mr. Bishop, you got to, in your opinion, minus that we're BHawk fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, who is the best spring quarterback? Because I can tell you who it is.
I think it's Luis, the Spring King.
That's it. He's done.
Yep.
Guy owns all the records,
Yep.
No, nothing against AJ. As much as I love AJ, Derek, not so much an AJ lover. I'm an AJ lover.
Yeah.
But Luis Perez has to be the best spring quarterback that is.
Yep.
Explain to people why he has to be and the things that this man has done over, 6 years of spring football now?
He's Mr. Consistent. I mean, you can always rely on that guy to do something special. And I mean, I've been a spring football fan. I remember when the BHawks were first announced back in 2018. I was sitting in an engineering class my sophomore year of high school. I watched the AAF. I didn't watch much USFL. I'm an XFL homer. I mean, he's always been a guy in spring football that you need to win. He's the guy that's going to get you wins. You saw it with Arlington that year. They won it all in 23. They should not have won that suit. They should not have won the championship, but Luis Perez, he just delivered. He's a heck of a quarterback. He's an awesome guy. He's a baller. He can play. He's very reliable, I think is the best way to put it.
Right. Now, Derek, I know you got something for Mr. Bishop, so go ahead. I'll let you go.
Well, just out of curiosity, how do these relationships with you and these players, do they just kind of develop because, you go to a couple of games, maybe you see them after the game? Is it through social media? How do those relationships start and then continue to what you've developed as of now?
Yeah. So I kind of like what I talked about. It all started with Darius. And like, he actually didn't even know I worked for the team in 23, but in 24, we would start. I went up to Michigan and watched him play. He gave us tickets for it. So I got to know these guys pretty good. And then like Travis and Jake, I saw a lot after games as well. Jake Sutherland's one of the nicest guys on the team, hands down. Such a good guy. He's one of the first dudes in St. Louis in 23. Like, he would talk to me after games just because. And then, so like with the rest of the guys, it was kind of a word of mouth thing, I think is the best way to put it. When I first started my business, I went through and I followed a bunch of guys. And if they followed me back, I'd shoot them a DM. Some of them I've never met in person before. Blake Jackson was just in town this past Friday. It was the first time we'd met in person. But like Luis Perez, for example, Darius is really good friends with him and referred him to me. So we build relationships like social media, over the phone. And I'm going to really try to like get out to Memphis to watch Maximilian Roberts play when the BHawks play him. And I'll probably get out to Arlington too and watch Luis, Todd Simmons, and Noah Henderson all play when the BHawks play him. So it's really a virtual relationship as of now. But like when they come in town and stuff, I've had players stay at my house, my family's house, because But yeah, they're all really good guys. I can't emphasize that enough. And really, truly, one of the coolest things about it is, for me, Bishop Athlete Representation. I'm not making much money, but it's good learning experience, and the guys know that, and they are so excited to be around the fans. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, it is the coolest thing ever. When I tell them they get to go hang out with fans, they're like, oh yeah, like they're pumped.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we did your card show last year.
Yep.
And I know we helped promote it, and I know that a bunch of people showed up to it.
Yep.
And you see the excitement that these guys have. Like we said, we had Travis on last week, and I asked him, Travis, do you know the impact that you've made in this local area and the impact that you've made with these people? For you, knowing that you're getting those connections for these players to these fans, what does that mean to you and Bishop Athlete and all of that? What does that mean to you?
Man, I think the easiest way I could put it means the world, honestly. So I actually was very fortunate recently. I won $2,000 from a grant from the University of Missouri, and I'm competing for $15,000 next week. And it's all cool and stuff. I have to talk about like revenue models, for example. I don't really have much revenue. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I really, really, really love seeing them engage with the fans. As somebody who was a fan for a long time and was a Rams fan when they were here, and then they left, and I mean, has lived and breathed football his whole life. I love bringing them on and bringing them in town to engage with the fans in a fun, interactive way. And it's really cool to just see, the smiles and the positive energy that, meeting Travis Feeney for 5 minutes can bring to somebody. It's really, really special. And my best example is this, STL Pros camp we did. Yep, that's me and Darius right there out in Michigan. And it's so fun to see all these people engage with the fans, and it's great. It truly is. It's awesome. Yeah, so that was Michigan. That was a blast. Even though we lost.
we were there covering that game, and as we were leaving, we ran into you.
Yep.
There at Ford Field, and just to see what was your take of Ford Field, because I absolutely thought that was a phenomenal facility.
Oh yeah.
What was your take of Ford Field?
It was awesome. I wish we had a field like that in St. Louis, and I could see 40,000 fans in it at St. Louis. It was awesome. Beautiful facility. And everybody's very nice. Everybody's very nice.
Well, we got the new turf now, so maybe.
We did. I've heard it tonight.
Maybe.
Jake was telling me it's pretty good, and the lights are great. So, and they flicker. I don't know if you saw that. They flicker. So
we did see that.
Touchdown, it's going to be all flickery in there.
Right.
But,
now,
yeah.
You talked about how you just got a grant. I'm sorry, Derek. Go ahead. I know you got something. So go ahead.
No, go right ahead. Continue.
No. So I know you just said that you have a grant, and trust me, Fuel, we're not for profit. We do a lot of work for charities. We've raised money for the Autism Speaks.
Yeah.
Raised money in Houston for the area women's shelter center down there for battered women. When you're trying to start something up like this, what you're doing is you're doing more sports, like you said. Me and Arlington started this Fuel Network, XFL, STL talk show thing way back in 2018 when they announced the BHawks were coming, or the team was coming. So for us, it was a love of passion. But explain to people the headaches that you get when you're trying to work for these grants and trying to build this up and do this stuff for the community. It's a lot of work. So explain on your end what kind of work it is.
Yeah. So with the grant, I was really, really fortunate. I was selected to present in front of a panel of judges for our entrepreneurship school at the University of Missouri. And I won the audience favorite. I won that because I'm in a pretty small major at Mizzou Sport Management. And my professors convinced kids to come to my thing for extra credit. And if they voted for me, I would win. And then the following week, I won that grant. And so next week I present and potentially can win $15,000. And so that would be really, really cool if I could do that. That is if they like my presentation, that's how I get voted to win that. As for the headaches, I've ran into them. I think me and you both know at times it can be a little difficult with the league. I try very hard to not overstep that line. If there were BattleHawks, and I've talked with the BattleHawks marketing lady, I love Stoley. Stoley's a great guy. Stoley really supports what we're doing, and I wish people would understand, especially in the league, what I'm doing is not to hurt the league. I really am here because I want to make a positive difference in the league, and I want it to grow. I don't want the UFL to disappear. If I can help bring players in and get them involved with fans and get them brand deals and all this fun stuff, and we can grow the league, great. Like truly, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and I think that's where some of the misconception is, and I know you've ran into it as well. I really am here really wanting to help grow the league because I want it to succeed, because 45,000 people in St. Louis is pretty damn impressive if you ask me. And I want it to be like that for the rest of the markets.
Right. And I agree. I mean, it's been very trying because we started this show because in the beginning, there was nobody really talking about the BattleHawks. It was just me and Arlington talking about them. We had the fans, and it's always been about, let's get these fans involved and stuff like that. Let's hear what the fans have to say and stuff. So it can be very, very trying. Now, you are working with the new company on the branding for the players. So who comes up? Because you got to show some of those pictures back there, because I'd like to have a couple of those pieces where I could throw them into the studio. Like,
up here,
I would.
These guys.
Yeah.
So I drew all those a while ago. I have an iPad, so I drew all those. They're on my Instagram. It's called BattleHawks Art. Feel free, take whatever you want. I'll send you them. You can print them, do whatever you'd like to do with them. I just did them for fun. Like I just was bored in psychology and I would draw them. And so I haven't done them in a long time because life's gotten hectic, but I would like to do more. But it is just something really fun. I like to do. And obviously the logo is in them and stuff, so I can't sell them or anything like that. But it was more just for fun. But yeah, I mean, use whatever you want, print them, get them signed. I don't care at all. They're just out there.
There you go, Derek. Listen, that's the typical college kid. I was just bored in class and I was drawing.
Well,
wasting mom and dad's money.
From one college kid to another, I I did the same stuff you're doing. I went through all of that, had to deal with the whole process, right? We've all, us college folk, we've all had to do the same things. Being there at Columbia, and I've got to ask you these series of questions, which will lead into more of the UFL stuff. But you did mention something that kind of piqued my interest just a little bit. And my background in sports media, whenever I had first started out, was really covering that exodus of the Rams from St. Louis to jump back into the LA market. That's really where I made my name for myself, podcasting, writing numerous articles that are over on fuelsportsnetwork.com. And during that entire just rush of 2 to 3 years that we were covering this, the stories that were coming out, I remember the feeling of the fans. I remember how dejected. I remember the announcement that night, and I remember how hurt I was because I lived through the loss of my Big Red. I lived through the second loss of the Rams. And so for me, it not only did it sting, but guess what? I also lived through the loss of having an expansion franchise in the St. Louis Stallions taken away from us. So all that being said, I was very in tune to the fan base and what they were feeling and thinking. Now, for yourself, younger guy, pretty well sports oriented. You got to live through the Rams. From the people that you've dealt with after that incident had occurred, and when the BHawks came in, what feeling did you get from the fan base and the people that you corresponded with and their acceptance of this new team and this new league into this market? What was that like for you?
So a couple things on that. Back to when you said you remember the announcement. I remember the announcement. So what was it? 6 years ago now? 7 years? No, even more than that. I'm 21, and they left in 2015. So what? 10 years ago, I don't even know, 12 years old or something like that. I was at baseball practice. It was an indoor baseball practice. My dad walked in. He looked at me. I looked at him. I put my thumbs up or my thumbs down, and he just shook his head. And I remember I just saw a post on my mom's Facebook, like a flashback, and it's like Jack asked me if it was okay to cuss because the Rams left. But anyways, it has been really cool. There's a family in the chat. I can never pronounce their name. They give all the players. Yes, Keela. They're a great example. They are at everything. You guys are at everything, and to see how a fan base, like you said, when Big Red left, my dad, was alive when Big Red left, and to see even the excitement it brought my dad when he got to take me back to the Dome in 2020 when I was, a junior in high school. And I kind of was, because when the Rams were here, I was younger, but I was able to kind of be around it more and, going to fan events and being at everything. And it was kind of in a way, the first team I had ever really had to root for. Like the Rams were around and I remember when they were around, but I was younger. And now the BHawks have been around and it's a team I've had to root for. And it's been so cool to see, kids be obsessed with the BHawks and, like my little brother saying it's the coolest thing in the world. I work with BHawks, and I can't speak on it enough as a fan myself, how great as a city we've done in accepting what many deem to be second tier football. They're like, oh, it's just, they're like glorified college. It's not. Like, I mean, for example, Darius Shepard's caught passes from Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, like NFL quarterbacks. We've had Andy Isabella is on my client list. He's with the Steelers right now. Like, these guys can play football. And it's been so cool in our market to see fans rally around these guys who they didn't know. You know, I remember that first season, I'm sure you do, 2020, I was like, "Who's this guy? I've never heard of this
Right.
guy."
We only
Right?
knew
And
Aldo. We only knew
yeah,
Jordan Aldo. That was it.
yeah. And then in like 2023, you know, we had to restart. Who are these guys? Who's Travis Feeney? Who are these guys? And then all of a sudden, after like 2 games, we have fan clubs, we have this. And I'm telling all you guys, they notice. Like Eric Magwood, he thinks it's the world's coolest thing that he has a fan club, even though he's a backup, somewhat starter offensive lineman. He loves it. He talks about it all the time. Um, Travis talks about it all the time. I remember when Travis was in the STL Post Dispatch, doing this with the beers. He made me go Quick Trip in St. Louis and buy him 5. He's like, "Go get him because I want him because it's awesome." And it's just so cool to see all of the fans rally around these guys and love them. Like we don't, these aren't first round picks. They aren't first overall draft picks in the NFL. I think, and that's why I think they represent St. Louis so well is because they're blue collar, hardworking guys who want to play football, and we rally around them and have fun with it.
I remember, Jack, you talk about going to the games with your dad. My oldest son was born when the Rams came in 96. So his initials are literally Rams. That is my son's initials are Rams.
That's awesome.
And when they left, he's still a diehard Rams fan. But I never got to take him to a Rams game. So when the BattleHawks came, I got my boys and me season tickets. And at the time, my youngest son wasn't quite old enough. I got him, then we got him season tickets. And then, then the BattleHawks and this show got me my, my my fiance Amanda now. And we all sat together. But for me as a dad, like you were saying for your dad, I know exactly what your dad says. When it's taking your son to that game for the very first time and you're getting to see the look on your son's faces when the dad is sitting there with football, watching football. So like for you, that first time you went with your dad to a game, BattleHawks game, what was it like for you as a fan?
Yeah, so I mean, we got there early, we tailgated. It was awesome. I'd never tailgated before. And everything was just awesome. Like it was cool. We went around the dome, like because I love like seeing old sports facilities and like the history of them. And I'll never forget the Joe Powell kickoff return. That was that first game against the Renegades, and
yes,
I remember we're sitting in the end zone, and I see a guy get through. I'm like, oh crap, it's gonna be a tackle for like he's gonna get like 10 yards, and all of a sudden here comes a reverse, and I'm like, oh wait a sec, and he catches the reverse and he just takes off, and I'm like, go, and my dad's on his feet yelling go, and there's hundreds of fans around the show, and he scores. It was so loud in there, I could not hear myself. And that's another thing. When you're down on the field, you can't hear. Like third down, guys, it is deafening. It is crazy. But that first game, it was the coolest thing in the world because I got to talk about it with my dad for weeks and weeks and weeks after that. And I think we went to one more game. We were going to go to the third, and then COVID hit. But and as soon as 2023, as those tickets came on sale for season tickets, we bought them, and we've had them ever since. And it was really cool to spend that moment with my dad because it was just me and him, and like we took pictures and like. It was just so cool. I took a selfie with Marquette King, and to see the look on his face of like, yeah, I get to experience this with my son. It was really special. And now he's been one of my biggest supporters in my company, and is a huge help with all that. As my mom, really appreciate both of them. My mom picks up BattleHawks players from the airport on the regular, so and she cleans my brother's room if they need a place to stay. They get their own bedroom and bathroom. So, my parents have been great, and it's, truly has been special to go through this with them and to go to that game with my dad really kind of kicked off my love for the team. Because that was who I always talked about.
Derek, doesn't that kind of bring back an event that happened to us in 2020 when we went to the very first BattleHawks game in Arlington, Texas?
That does. I remember that very vividly.
We get to the hotel.
It was quite the event.
It gets to the hotel, and by that time I was going by dirty, and I walk in, and there is Jordan Ta'amu talking to somebody. I think it was like his aunt or his mom or somebody, and he sees me and he goes, "Dirty, you really did come down here to Arlington." I was like, "Bro, I told you we were coming down here." You know,
Yeah.
so and I had my boys there, and my boys didn't realize how big the show was. And then when
Mhm.
they have their quarterback coming over to
Oh
us,
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh my God, Dad, that's really Jordan Thomo." I said, "Yeah, that's Jordan Thomo."
Yeah.
And I introduced him to my boys, and then we're leaving, and we were getting ready to go somewhere. Marquette King is coming, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Dirty, what's up, bro? Let's get a selfie." I was like, "Cool, bro, let's do a selfie."
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, you're right. I mean, we do have it, and it is exciting. Now we have a question here for you. Well, here, so Joe JR wants to know, with all the upgrades to the dome, if they could only also upgrade the field security by getting rid of the banner czar.
Yep. Yeah. So
Okay, how do
so
you feel of the
the
banner
banners and the beach
czar?
balls.
Hmm.
So the
I hate
banner,
them.
so yes, the banners are tough because they cover logos. So that's with Fox. That's a Fox thing. They don't like the
Right?
logos being covered. This was something we'd go over in our meetings. And then the beach balls is a dome policy. Now, I would sometimes sneak the beach balls back up, and then dome security would be like, "Don't do that." And I was like,
No, Jake, Jack, you would pop the beach balls. You pop the beach balls. That's how you do it. You pop the beach balls.
yeah, you definitely saw that. Yeah,
Right. You
but
pop them.
yeah, the banners are tough because some of them are awesome. Some of the banners are really cool, but if it covers the logos, they want to take it down because it's Fox and they have to do that. But yeah, I don't know if that would change. The streamers probably won't ever change. I think there's not much they can do to stop the streamers. Just
Stop
stop
throwing
throwing
them
it
on
on
the
the field.
field. Thank
Stop
you.
throwing it on the field. I don't like running out there at the 20-yard line getting the streamers. I'm like, I shouldn't be out here. I love them if you don't throw them on the field. And then just don't let the beach balls hit the field, and you'll be fine there too. But the banners are always going to be one they're a little stubborn on, just because it's a league thing.
Yeah. Now here, Amanda wants to ask, where would you like to see the fan engagement go with the
Mhm.
team and the fans? Because that's something you're really big into.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what is something you would like to see?
yeah. So I guess my best example would be in January. We're doing a car show, the STL Auto Show. It's at the Dome. Um, I haven't ironed out the details of who's coming, but a couple players are coming. Blake Jackson is for sure coming, the wide receiver. And um, Blake is really big on cars. He has his own custom cars, like a modded 101 car. I'm not a car guy. And so I personally look for events that the players will enjoy, right? So they're going to go, they're going to sign autographs. Fans can come meet them, check out cars. And then at 4 o'clock, the players are going to get in a drift car. They're going to ride around in drift cars. And so I would love to see the teams, find events their players want to do. Back in 23, we would do events when I was with the BattleHawks. We would do events where they would come in and play video games with like the Boys and Girls Club, and they love doing that. Not many guys like going and sitting at the store and signing autographs. They'll do it sometimes, like the card show. That pays really well. They make good money from that, and sometimes you just got to do it. But personally, I find events that I want our athletes to be able to enjoy, if that makes sense. I want them to be able to have fun and be happy that they're there. And that's what I would like to see the league kind of do and the teams kind of do. Find events your players enjoy and let them have fun and enjoy it a little bit and compensate them for that. But yeah, that's what I would kind of like to see.
Well, you got the guy above you right there.
Mhm.
Go on, Derek. I know you want to talk about the car. Go on.
Well,
Got the car show.
I'm
Tell
a
him what the
car
car he
guy.
was talking
Yeah.
about was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big car guy. I'm a car builder, and that's
Okay.
what I've done for a lot of years. That's my education, and I've owned and built many different hot rods, different types of builds, from
Yeah.
trucks to cars to tractors.
Oh, God.
I mean, you name it. And this guy, he just loses his mind because I'm always out in my shop, right? I'm always
Yep.
messing with something, working on something, building an engine,
Yeah.
doing something for a car. And he has heard plenty of enough out of me on some of my builds. So
Uh-huh.
but it's a big thing to me. Everybody has
Yep.
their little hobby, their niche.
Yep.
Mine happens to
Yep.
be cars. I
Yep.
love them, all makes, all models. I'm not
Yep.
a particular brand homer,
Yep.
but I'll just put it to you this way. I own a 1969 Mustang Mach 1 Cherry Red. So, I mean, if that
That's
tells you
awesome.
where I kind of have a tendency to lean, usually it's towards the Ford side.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think he has. All I know is it's a 101 build from Germany that like he had imported in. I
So it
bet he
could
has
be a
pictures of it
Mercedes
somewhere.
Benz,
Yeah, I think it might.
could be a
I don't know.
BMW.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not sure.
maybe we should just get Jake on here to find out what kind of build it
Yeah, I can
We
is.
talk to Blake
definitely
about
could.
coming on. Yeah,
All right.
I can talk to Blake about coming on. Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
Blake, yeah, I don't know what a
Yeah.
101 build is. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm sure he'd be happy to talk about it. I know
Well,
he's
off air behind scenes, Spurge, I'll fill you in on what a 101 build is.
no, I'm sure you will. Sabrina goes right here. She goes, I'm late. So when she wants to know when your next bar event is going to be.
Yeah, so we're in talks about a couple. The one I can lock down for sure is in January. It's the auto show. It's Saturday, so it's January 11th, I think. They'll be signing autographs from 12 to 2. And then they're going to be in the or on 1 to 3, and they're going to be in the drift car at 4. And so I think if you just buy a general admission ticket, you can just come on in and you'll find us. I think we're going to be on the $1 million row or something like that. Take pictures, sign autographs, whatever you guys want to do. And then right now, currently, if you go to High Point, it's the burger company. We partnered with them. Blake Jackson did. He created what's called the Jack Stack Burger. And so we did that. And so if you buy that burger, you have a chance. There is some meals that will come with like an autographed hat or an autographed shirt of High Points. And then 15% of all sales are donated back to NAMI STL. It's a nonprofit organization in St. Louis that advocates for mental health. And sorry, Blake was their gala speaker for them. And then as for the question I just saw, yes. So I always try to post stuff in that fan group on Facebook. You can follow my Instagram,
Yeah.
Bishop Athlete Rep. Follow that. I'll post events on there. And then I have a website as well. You can go check that out. It'll always have stuff, and I'll have more details on stuff we've done in the past. So yeah, I try to keep it in that official St. Louis Battlehawks page. I try to put it in there. Sometimes it gets rejected. Most of the time, it gets accepted.
If it gets rejected, let me know, and
Okay.
I'll take care of that, or just send it to me, and then I'll post it up there. Now, Amanda's got a question. She goes, "How would you say shows like ours and the little guys like us, help in your role? Also help the players. How is it roles like ours that helps these players?"
I'm a little guy too. I'm from St. Louis, born and raised, O'Fallon, and so anybody wondering, I went to Fort Dumont South, so we can just answer that question off the rip. But so it is, I have a lot of connections out there. I've been fortunate to know a lot of people, but I don't know everybody. And so having these things, and you never know who you're going to stumble across. I mean, somebody in the chat could know somebody who owns something that would want to do something with the Battlehawks, and now you know that I exist. And then, for you guys too, like, I love getting, now your fans know about us. Now your fans know, okay, he does help Battlehawks get in the community. And like, I can text you, Jason, and we can talk about, hey, I'm doing this event on this day. Yeah, so that's me coaching. I'm out in Columbia, so I do that as well. So I'm involved there. I've got my hands in a lot of different things, but yeah, so it's pretty awesome. I really love coming on here and talking to you guys and spreading the word, because I want as many people to know as possible. Hey, guys are coming in.
So here's Sandy. She's
awesome.
the main mod of the administrator of the page.
Okay.
And she says on the St. Louis official Battlehawk page, I will fix it to where it goes automatically. So there you go. Sandy will take care of it.
See, all you got to do is just got to grease the right wheel, man.
Yep.
That's all you got to do, and then it just goes right your way.
Now,
Sabrina, I see a comment about X.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I saw her comment on Twitter. If you have Instagram, you should follow me on there too. I post a lot more on Instagram. I need to get my Twitter up and running. I'm very busy. Go ahead though.
So now the question: you're going to Mizzou for all of this stuff, right?
Yep.
Have you got a hold of Rick's story yet from the Mizzou tailgating page?
My man,
I have not.
You need to get a hold of Rick's story from the Mizzou tailgating page, because he does the big tailgates down there at the Mizzou games.
Okay.
So that might be a guy that'll help you get some stuff going.
Yeah,
know,
and
and
you
he
want to talk about connections, man. Rick's
Okay.
got them, man. He's got
Okay.
all the little connections everywhere within that organization. He's
Okay.
definitely one of them to talk to.
Yeah, and Rick was the guy that helped us in 2023 do the feeding of the
Mhm.
players when they did it out there at Mobat, where we came out, we brought
Yep.
about 15, 20 fans with us. We barbecued for all of the players that were trying out, and we fed all of the players offensive, defense on both
Yep.
sides of the field. Eric was out there too for that. So
Yep.
yeah, if you got anything you want to do in Mizzou, get a hold of Rick.
Okay. Yeah.
Rick could take care of you. Now,
Okay.
you're going to Mizzou for all of this stuff, right?
Yep. Yep.
You said you had a guy. You have a guy. Let's see if I can remember his name. Playing in the NFL right now.
Andy Isabella.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about that, bro.
Yeah. So that was really
Talk
cool.
about that.
When I saw Andy Isabella got signed, I was like, I got to go get this guy. I got to figure out how to do marketing with him. He had an email in his Instagram bio. So I shot him an email. He responded. He said, yeah, let's hop on a phone call. And hopped on a phone call and he was like, let's work. And I'm like, okay. And 2 weeks later, I'm a Steelers fan. He signed to the Steelers. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. So I've been working on trying to get him some opportunities. But it's really cool, and awesome to say I'm in college and I'm able to do marketing for an NFL guy is just awesome. It's a really cool thing to be able to like have under your belt, especially going forward in my career. But yeah, it's really cool. I was pretty excited for that. I was jumping up and down in my room a little bit, like, oh yeah.
So, like, who was the first call you made? Was it to mom or was it to dad?
So actually, the first people I told, um, it was dad. It was dad. But my roommates, they also are a part of the company. One of them's a sport management major, another two of them just kind of want to get to know the company and how it works a little better. So I'm letting them help out. And I remember I go running in my buddy's room and I'm like, dude, you're never gonna believe it. And he goes, what? I go, Andy Isabella. He got signed by the Steelers. He goes, shut up. I'm like, I swear. I'm like jumping up and down. I'm like, oh yeah, like so excited, and it's just cool to, be able to say, like I get to work with these guys. Um, and it's a really awesome thing to, be able to experience. And, Darius Shepard, credit him to a lot of my success. He's in talks with a couple NFL guys that, potentially may want to work with us, and just a lot of stuff starting to stir. And, only technically been a company for 4 months. So,
For me, you mentioned D-Shep again, right?
hmm
D-Shep is probably one of the most humble, just down to earth, just salt of the
yeah,
earth kind of guys
yeah,
that you're really ever going to meet. And this, again, we get to see it as fans from the stands, right? We see it
hmm
on TV, we see the product on the field. But what
yeah,
you don't see, that's even bigger to me. I've
yeah,
seen him go out of his way
yeah,
to sign things, to go with the
yeah,
fans, to talk with the fans,
yep,
to talk with us, to do
yep,
things with Fuel, to do things on
yeah,
these shows, and to work with us behind the scenes on
hmm
all sorts of different types of things, from
yep,
charitable things to other stuff that might come down the pike at some point. To
yeah,
be involved with that type of a player and that type of a person, you know,
yeah,
in this business, and especially the further you get up the
hmm
food chain, right?
yep,
It becomes more and more of a dog eat dog.
yep,
And when you get with these guys that are so humble and so
yep,
hungry, like
yep,
D-Shep, like Feeney, like
yeah,
the Dream, Hakeem,
yep,
my guy, that's my guy
yep,
right there.
yep,
And, just with all of these great, great guys. And again, AJ McCarron, one of the greatest, nicest, kindest people, give you the shirt off his back kind of guy.
hmm
I know in a lot of NFL circles, he got a bad rap.
hmm
And that was just because of, the situation he was put in.
hmm
And so for me as a fan, watching the product and
hmm
seeing these guys and how much they love playing for the Battlehawks,
hmm
love playing in St. Louis in front of this fan base, to
hmm
me, that is even more special to know that they want to be
hmm
here.
Yeah, it's, talking a little bit about Darius, I know a lot of you guys, like, you see stuff on the surface, so I can give you a few things, kind of beneath the surface. when Darius first started working with me, one of the things we highlighted was he wanted to work with a nonprofit. And we worked with Care STL, which is a local dog shelter. He took a pair of cleats. He had them custom made by his guy who does his cleats, and we had them auctioned off. It wasn't known, but they raised $1,200, and all those funds went back to the dog shelter. We did a hospital visit where he brought in cleats. These kids signed them. They drew on them. He wore them in pregame for Michigan. Blake Jackson just did donated cleats to a gala for NAMI STL and raised $2,400. But anyways, back to Darius. Darius, I mean, truly, when we first started, I think obviously Darius was a little skeptical because I was a college kid. But truly, I mean, like I would consider him one of my best friends now. Like honestly, he's such a nice guy. Like any issues I have, I call him. We talk about it. Like I've helped him run his football camps. I've stayed at his house. Like, and he just had a new daughter. His daughter's 4 months old. So he's learning how to be a dad. And he really has. I'm the oldest in my family. He really has kind of taken an older brother role and kind of helped mentor me through some things. And yeah, he didn't have to. That guy has all the accolades in the world. If he didn't, he didn't have to talk to me at all. But he has, and and honestly, one of the coolest things ever. It's up out in my living room right now. He gave me his jersey, and he signed it, and I got it framed. And I mean, truly, it's just like one of those things where no matter how big I get, no matter what athletes I represent, I could represent the next Michael Jordan. I don't ever think the Darius Shepherd jersey would ever not be the centerpiece of my office or anything. I think it would truly be like my most prized piece of memorabilia, just because of how great of a guy he is. And I've been spoiled, to get to work with these guys because not many pro athletes are like Darius and Travis and Jake and Blake and all these guys. And truly, when I tell you, I know a lot of times you see bad athletes in the media. These guys are the exact opposite. They're family men who do really awesome things and are just some of the nicest, most down-to-earth guys, and are just as happy to be in St. Louis playing football as the fans are to be in St. Louis rooting for them. It's really special.
Well, here's the real question that I gotta ask.
Hold on, Derek. Let me
ahead.
go with this. All
because
something that he said, what Darius did. I mean, as you see right here, it says the Blake's BHawk live crew, the Autism Speaks Mission Row, right?
Yeah.
I'd been doing this show for a very long time, since 2019, the end of 2018 and stuff. Been doing this show for a very long time. I've had a lot of people help get to where we are. People like Arlington, Derek, Amanda, Sandy on here who said, send her a friend request so she can do this stuff for you, So when I set Fuel Up, I wanted to do it as a non-for-profit.
Mm-hmm.
Because, most of these most of the things like this, it's all about them making the money. And Derek can vouch. Any money that we make, we donate it to the charities. We don't keep anything. Awesome. We do enough to pay our bills and to pay for all this. But when I really got humbled is when we reached out to Trey Watson.
Yeah, I know Trey. Yep.
And we said, hey, we're doing this autism event. Would you come? And he said yes. And he came. He didn't ask us for anything. He was like, look, you take care of my hotel room. I'll do everything else. That's what we did. And he sat there for 2 hours signing pictures and all of that. Helped us raise $6,700. And when I stood back and I looked at everybody that came, and then when Trey came, I was very humbled by it.
Yeah.
So to hear you saying that, Darius is helping you, and to, as I read your mission statement, at BAR, we strive to represent the underrepresented. It is our goal to assist athletes in acquiring marketing deals, working with brands, and engaging in their local communities through non-for-profits, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, like right here. She said Trey and his family were the sweetest at the event. Their son played football with his son.
Yep.
The entire time. And I mean, just to see the type of things that these players are willing to do and to not be selfish about it is just unbelievable. So always remember that. And everybody always tells me, oh, you have such a big head. Derek can tell you right now, I'm one of the first that I will pass the buck on to anybody else to where we are today. I don't take the credit, I pass it on. All right, Derek, go on. I just had to say it because he said the
Yeah.
Darius Shepherd, and that's one of my biggest prizes right there. Is
Well,
that.
we're still going to stay on the Darius Shepherd conversation because I got to ask this, because coming out of Blue Springs High School,
Yeah.
just out, Kansas City guy. Okay.
Yep.
He's been on a few NFL rosters. All right.
Mhm.
I know he's watching the NFL season.
Yep.
As it goes on.
Mhm.
And as it goes on, is he rooting for the hometown team?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had told me for so long he wasn't a fan of any team, and finally I actually told him, I said, one of these days I'm going to get up there. I'm going to give you a true NFL game day, tailgate experience. I'll come up and I'll bring some nachos or something, and we can watch football. I do think he's a Chiefs fan. I'm not a Chiefs fan. Steelers fan. I can't be a Chiefs fan. I hated him when the Rams were here. I just can't switch my allegiance. But I do think
Shepard goes to the Chiefs, are you a Chiefs fan then?
Well, funny story about that. When he was with the LA Chargers last year, and then this year he thought there was a chance maybe the LA Rams would pick him up. And I remember when he told me that, I'm like, no, come on, man. He goes, I got to take whatever I get. I said, I know, but why the LA Rams? He goes, I know. But yeah, if he went to the Chiefs, if he went to the Rams, I'd buy a Rams jersey and cross off the logo and just, with his name on the bag, I'd wear that. But where any of my guys go, I'd support them. I don't know, man. I get the Rams are tough, but where any of them go, I would, I'd be their biggest fan. I'd be just happy for them, to get to do that stuff. Yeah, he is rooting for the Chiefs though, from what I understand.
Well, that's, it's great to see these players that may or may not have had a shot in the NFL. Maybe they were on a practice squad. Maybe they were in mini camp and they got cut even prior to preseason. Maybe they got a couple of preseason games under their belt. Maybe they were on a roster all season. They just never saw any playing time. You're starting to see these players. And the one player I would love to point to specifically is Mr. Bates, kicking for the Detroit Tigers right now. What a story for that young man.
I don't listen. I don't want to talk about him.
No,
I was at that game.
I was at that game too.
Him. And the reason we're going
Derek,
to talk
you weren't
about
there
him
at that game.
is
You were
because
not
he kicked
there.
a record-setting field goal in Michigan.
That game.
I hated it. Don't get me wrong. I wanted my Battlehawks to win, but I'm just saying that was a absolute sight.
It
and
really
as
was.
soon as that happened, I knew there's going to be NFL teams calling. And boy, howdy, wouldn't you know who won the pony? This guy right here. And Mr. Bates is on an NFL team kicking 60-plus yard field goals and just having the time of his life. Doesn't that energize you too as well to say, hey, these guys have an opportunity to get there and to get onto these NFL teams and finally, get a shot because they never had it before.
Yeah. I saw Denzel's comment. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We interviewed Jake. We were one of the first people that interviewed him after the thing. And to piggyback off what Derek said, like, what does spring football mean for these guys? For guys like Jake Bates that are making it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Your guy who just got signed to the Steelers. What does spring football mean for these guys?
It means the world. Personally, I think some of them liked it a little better when there was both the XFL and the USFL because it was competing entities looking to give the best product. Anyways, the UFL, I think all of them appreciate having somewhere to play. Because there's arena leagues, and I could go play in the arena leagues, and I haven't played football in 3 years. Like, some of those guys are really good. Like the IFL is a really, really good league, but like some of the rest of them, I'm like, okay, what is this? But and like most of them don't want to go up to Canada. There's a lot of stuff about Canada that like people don't like with the contracts and stuff they do up there. And I think it's just really, really special for them to be able to have a place to play. And then Andrew, yes, on that comment, I remember at the game, he hit the field goal. We iced him We iced him and hit the field goal, and he made it. And I was like, oh no. And then he kicked it again and drilled it. I was like, oh, yep,
I know, right?
yeah. So, but yeah, back to the spring football thing. I think it's awesome for them to have a platform where they can be successful and get a chance, even if maybe they don't make it, they still get that chance to go out and prove it and think, you know what, I left it all on the line, I left it all on the field. Nobody can tell me I didn't try my best. And I think it's been that important to them. And personally, it's been important to me because it's given me a team, and now it's given me a company, and a way to work with these guys and do that kind of stuff.
I know that feeling. It's given us the company too.
Yeah,
which is nothing but a bunch of headaches,
true.
sometimes. But it
Uh-huh.
it is worth it. All right, look, you probably didn't think you'd be on here for 50 minutes talking about your company and all of that stuff, did you?
All good. I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's the type this is. Let's just let people get to know you and all
Yeah.
that. So while we have you, we have 10 minutes left. Derek, we put out a comment. So we're going to ask Jack, right? We're going to ask Jack. Oh, look at this clown on here. Whoever this Poppy Schmears is, he sounds like a clown. So we'll just take him out.
Probably.
Well, it's all good. He's just, we have idiots and trolls, and I love dealing with them a certain way. So, it's more like
Hey,
he's the
that's fine.
bottom and, we're the tops, but it's all good.
Well,
Anyway.
he was on the bottom.
He was on the bottom of our list.
True, very true.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Very true.
Derek, let's get to it.
Absolutely.
Get to what we posted on our page, and we'll start with Mr. Bishop of what he would like to see as a fan. So tell us what we were talking about, Derek.
Because we already covered the new field, right?
Yep.
So what we want to talk about now is what other amenities, what other things could the organization do to excite the fan base? A couple of the things that was put up on the post was maybe, I don't know, more concessions, better concessions, maybe better parking, maybe more fan experience events with the players. I know there was a lot of fans that were let down last season because there just really wasn't a whole lot of events for the fans. And the only time that a lot of the fans were able to have any interactions with the players or anything was usually on and off the buses or in and out of the tunnel. So for you, what would you say? I'm going to put a pin in that, or two or three things, and say, that's my top.
Yeah. So I honestly, I haven't been to a game outside of working it since 2020. But some of the things I noticed as an employee, so like I know everybody's very upset about they eliminated the field walk pre or post game if you're a season ticket holder. That was more so because we don't have enough staff. Our staff got cut down big time after the merger, and there's not enough of us. And there's too many season ticket holders. So you'd see 50 season ticket holders and a Linwood cheerleader walking with them, and it'd be like, wait, we can't manage everybody. So that was like one of the things. But back to what you were talking about, I agree. I think more fan engagement. One of the things that players really struggled with personally, I know, is after the game they'd try to sign autographs, but they would get pulled off. Rumor is that's a Fox thing, from what I understand. I'm not entirely sure.
It was.
Yeah, and so that was something the players were upset with. They couldn't really talk to the fans after, because you guys know a lot of them doing it. That is something I could see happening. Again, like so much changed last year because of the merger. People like it's hard, like on the outside, people may not have like seen that, but we lost like a lot of full-time staff. They were cut down to like part-time staff. So it really hinders what you're able to do. And that's nobody's fault. You have to save money. I get it. And we lost a lot of really good staff members because they were like, I'm not going to be part-time. Marching bands were fun. I'd love it if they turned the lights back off in the dome whenever the players run out. I loved when they did that in 2023. They stopped doing it in 24. More pyrotechnics would be a blast. Just expensive. Yeah, I think just more excitement, if that makes sense. I think last year was such a learning curve from that inside perspective of there was a lot of pieces moving and a lot of we're no longer XFL, we're UFL, so we can't use this piece of memorabilia. We have to use this piece, but we don't have that piece, so we can't put that out. because they really wanted us to effectively eliminate XFL. Couldn't have anything XFL. It was crazy. But I think, yeah, I think you guys will be surprised with how much will change this year. They brought in full-time staff. And I think, yeah, fan experience, marching bands were fun. I always liked them.
The bar network that they had back in 2020 was a
Yes.
good thing. I liked that. I'd like to see that. I mean, Sandy says here, more fan experiences with the fans.
Yep.
Again, listen, I went to a few games in 2023. And, JR says, yes, the player introduction, especially with the new lights, that would be cool with the new lights. I went to a bunch of games in 2023 at a bunch of the different stadiums for the BattleHawks. And not just BattleHawks, but I probably went to, out of the 48 games they played, I went to 23 of those games, and 40 out of all the games in 2023 just wasn't BattleHawk games. And like you said, with the St. Louis, the St. Louis fan experience wasn't that good, but what are you going to do when you have 35,000 people?
They know
almost
they don't
every
have to
single
make it as
game.
good. Yep.
Like if you wanted to experience a fan experience, then you should have went to another city because you'd have got a better fan experience.
Yes.
Nothing against the BattleHawks. It's just because of how many people they had. And that's what I would tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, look, the St. Louis fan experience doesn't compare to these other cities. You want to really get it, go to the other cities.
Well, that's the thing. Our marketing budget is the same as every other city.
Right.
Our funds are the same. Everything's the same across all 8 cities. And unfortunately for St. Louis, we have 45,000 people that show up at games. So also the league knows we don't have to market as much in St. Louis as we do in Memphis or other things. And again, we don't have the staff or the money oftentimes to support 45,000 people, and then 10,000 are coming on the field after the game. It's like we couldn't keep up.
Right.
And so that was another thing. But yeah, I think this next year is going to be much better for fan experience and just game day hype and stuff because everybody's kind of settled down. Merger's a year old now. Stuff's settling in. People are full-time jobs. They're comfortable. I think there'll be much more excitement from what I understand this year, and much more of that 2023, 2020 hype.
Now,
and JR, you're right. Yes.
What right here? What he says right here?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, in the stands, yes.
Yes.
But Jack, you got to agree with me. When you're standing on the sideline and you're walking by and you're getting to talk to guys like Rod Woodson, who's coming over and saying, hey, thank you for coming out and supporting us.
Yes.
You're talking to guys like Reggie Barlow that are saying, hey, thank you for supporting us. Because there's not as many fans on the field doing those experiences. That's an experience.
Yes.
But Coach Beck does a great job. Don't get me wrong, with the social media and all of that stuff, It's a lot harder for St. Louis to do what they did in other cities.
Yeah.
And with the fan experience.
Yeah. And and I think at the end of the day too, they know they don't have to. We're all going to keep showing up, and JR's perfect. He said it perfect. Double-edged sword. You know?
Exactly.
We get a lot of fans. We just don't get quite the same level of immersion as 9,000 fans, because you got to think, if there's 45,000 fans and 10 BattleHawk staffers, that's a 45-to-1 ratio right there.
Yeah, you guys are getting swamped. Well, I remember you helped us when we did the Autism Speaks event.
Yep.
And it was just crazy. It was
just
nuts
not enough of us
doing all of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was just crazy. So one other thing here. Let me ask you guys if you guys agree. Here's one thing I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the flag guy running around the field doing a 90 to nothing sprint on a touchdown. What do you think, Derek? What do you think, Jack?
That brings me back to mid-late 90s St. Louis Rams running the flag across the end zone.
Yep.
I mean, personally speaking, I would love to see the helmet golf cart come back. I think that would be
I would love that. That would be awesome.
See, there goes Amanda just said, it was so nice meeting you, Jack. Thank you for your help. You were great.
Yeah.
You did a great job that day.
I appreciate it.
You really helped us.
Yeah,
but there was one question up here Amanda asked. So, Jack, how can we get you to run faster across the end zone? when they score a touchdown? Do we have to throw
Well,
Nas's at you, shoot bottle rockets at you? What?
I was a linebacker
Let's
and a
avoid the
fullback
bottle
for
rockets.
13 years. Yeah. It's fun. I love doing it. Unfortunately, I won't be back with the team this year, with doing my company and all this stuff, but I will be at every game. So I won't be down there running the flag. Uh, but yes, JR, you're right. The flag is exhausting. Um, it is tiring, but it's so cool, man. It's such an awesome experience. You know, not many people get to run out of a tunnel in front of 45,000, and I'm not
That's
playing in the
true.
game, but to see how everybody, you know, would talk to us and have fun with us, and you guys would remember who I am and all this stuff. Really, it was just such a cool. I felt like a player. It was the coolest thing in the world. And there's a whole story behind how I even got to run the flag. If I had more time, I'd share it.
Well, we'll have to because
But
we were in overtime and we have another show coming on after
yep,
us. But
yep,
before we go, Amanda just says that she goes, I want my son to meet Shepard. My son has
yeah,
autism and their personalities would be perfect. I know that when I talked to Shepard, he said that kids with special needs did have a special place in his heart and all of that stuff.
yep.
All right, Mr. Bishop, before we go, see, look, people are saying it was fun. See, you did a good job, man. You were
Good.
all
I'm
nervous, and
glad.
I was like, dude, don't even worry about it. We'll be good. Tell people where they can find you, all of that stuff, and all of that good stuff.
So you can find me on Instagram at BishopAthlete_rep. On Twitter, it's not great yet. I'm working on it. It's BishopAth_rep. So Bishop ATH rep. And then Facebook is just like Bishop Athlete Rep. And then you can look at my website, just type in Bishop Athlete Representation, and then all sorts of stuff's on there, and you can look at who we represent. We've got some fun stuff coming in the pipeline, so I'll be sure to post it everywhere. And yeah, I appreciate all you guys. I'm excited, I'll get some players on and keep going for sure.
Well, and Fuel, we'll come down and we'll promote those events, and we'll come down and do some stuff with those events, and then maybe we can work something out here with your mission branding and marketing and stuff. Maybe we can work something out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here you go. People are saying congratulations on your award from
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All that good stuff. Derek, do you have anything else?
No, I just wanted to thank Jack for coming on and sharing your story and telling us, giving us a little bit of insight, and the fans that have tuned in to watch the show and listen to what you have to say about the BattleHawks product, about some of the players. We thank you. We appreciate you. We're glad you came on. We'd love to have you back sometime soon.
Yeah, I'd love to come on whenever, guys. Thank you so much. Sandy, I will accept that friend request. And yeah, excited, keep helping the fan base grow and staying involved.
Well, yeah, you got an open door policy here on BHawk Live, and with Fuel, we have the other shows. We have the Extreme show. With that, see, look right here. They love you.
I appreciate it. Love you guys.
See you guys soon. This is BHawk Live. I'm Spurge. Right there is Derek. That is the man. His name is not Jake. It's Jack Bishop. Dirty. Listen, the old Dirty came out. I was an idiot.
It's the dirty.
See you guys next